Welcome to, and the question is. So before I get into the question, I just want to thank everybody for sending in your questions. I really enjoy answering your questions. And when you do, we can have conversation, we can talk about it. And that's what the great thing is, because that is how we learn, is through having that conversation with one another. No debates, no arguments, but we can have conversation about it. And it is awesome. So you learned something, I learned something, and it's all about learning God's word, right? Right? Okay, so thank you so much. Today's question is, who is the Lord of the dead? Well, Romans 14:9 tells us, for to this end Christ died and lived again, that he might be Lord both of the dead and the living. So Christ's lordship involves his reign over both the death and the living, and that his lordship stems from his death and his resurrection. So when Christ rose from the dead, he defeated death. And Satan was already defeated. So, and that was God's plan all along. God created everything, including the angels, and Satan was an angel. And so God has always had the power over him. So Satan is not the Lord of the dead, but God is the Lord over the dead. So Acts 10:42 says, he commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that he is the one to be appointed by God to be the judge of the living and the dead. So not just the Lord of it, but Jesus is the judge, that he will judge everybody. And Satan has basically already been judged and he will be cast into the lake of fire. But we have the free will to choose as to how we want to live our lives. God doesn't force us into believing in him or following in his ways. But once we take our last breath, there is, not another chance to change our mind with that. But while we are alive, we are giving choices to make. But with every decision we make, yes, there is a consequence. Maybe it's good and maybe it's bad, but there is always a consequence to every decision we make. And last verse that I'm going to share is Revelations 1:18. It says, I, Jesus, am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I'm alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and Hades. See, Jesus tells us right there that he holds that key, he holds that power. And we make our own decisions to accept Christ, to accept that gift of salvation that he is offering to us. But there is a day that is coming to where Christ will take that key and he's going to open up hell. And all those who have rejected Christ will be cast into hell. Satan and his demons will be cast into hell. Why? Because Christ will make that decision. Satan is already doomed. And all his demons are already doomed. So Satan cannot be the Lord over anything. Because people, I am telling you, there is one Lord, thy God, and that is him, Jesus Christ. And he reigns over all. Okay. Thank you so much for your question. And until next time.